What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, September the 14th. Been on the water quite a bit, both here and Taneycomo. Bites changing, things are getting better. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 915.46 this morning, which is about 1.5 feet below normal. Beaver is low. Bull shoals, you're only about 1.5 feet high, so a lot of celebration going on down on Bull Shoals. They actually have normal water conditions to fish. Core's running a little bit in the afternoon to meet power demands, but really not a whole lot of current going through the dam right now. Water temperature, the water is cooling off. The shorter nights and cooler days is definitely making a difference. I'm seeing low 80s pretty much everywhere. I haven't been, way up the Kings or way up the James in the last week. I'd imagine they're a little bit warmer, especially in the afternoon, but like today, we're at 81 here at the dam. That's pretty much what I'm seeing all over the lake. 81 to about 83 at the most. If you get way up into the rivers, you might see 85, 87, something like that. But the bite's been good. The bite is changing. We actually caught them fairly shallow today down here by the dam. We may have been the only ones doing it. Best way to stay on top of that, best way to know what's going on Table Rock, of course, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get those daily reports, weekly reports, get all the information we put out there every day. We just, like I said, we had that deal with Jackie Davis, Pete Winters, and Brian Snowden last week, and I mean, they gave up some really good information on what they think it's going to be like over the next couple of months. And that's only available to pro members, so you need to check that out. But if you're coming down, going to fish the lower end of the lake, I'll tell you what we did today. I had a couple from Oklahoma, and they could fish. They actually brought their own baitcaster, so I knew they could fish. So we went out and tried to catch some smallmouth with a football jig, peewee football jig, spider jig, and the big football jig. They definitely ate the peewee better than the other jigs, that's for sure. I think we had 9 or 10 smallmouth in 3 hours. And of those 9, at least 5, maybe 6 of them were keepers. We had a couple in that 3 to 3.5 pound range. So we had some really good smallmouth, anywhere from about 10 to about 15 foot deep, a little bit shallower early. Again, the peewee football jig was better. They did bite the spider jig pretty good. But they really didn't eat the big football jig that well down here. I think it's a little early for that. I think once things cool down a little bit more, you'll start to see them hit that bigger football jig better. But they were definitely eating the peewee football jig, so keep that in mind. Last hour of the day, we went out and drop shotted a little bit. The bite slowed down on the jig, so we decided to do that. We drop shotted night crawlers and caught a walleye and had a couple other bites, and then just called it a day. The drop shot bite is still working down here. You can catch them on a shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, any of those are working as well on those long gravel points or in the trees or on the ends of the docks. It feels like, you can always catch them on a drop shot on those points and docks and everything, but I feel like the better bite down here by the dam is starting to transition, and you're going to start seeing these fish more on these gravel points, gravel and rock mix points, and some of the steeper stuff here pretty soon. You'll start to see those better largemouth show up on those ledgy type banks here I would say by the end of this month, maybe even sooner, because the water's a little bit cooler than it normally is. Go in the mid-lake area, same deal's working there. You can certainly catch them on a peewee football jig or a pro spider jig on these gravel and rock mix points. Most of the fish we caught today were on main lake points. We did catch a couple off of a secondary, but most of them are going to be main lake points. Again, they're going to be shallow early, around 5 to 8 foot, but once the sun gets up, those fish are going to back out, and you're going to catch them mostly 12 to about 18 foot. Catch them drop shot in there as well. Still, you can catch shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, gravel points 22 to 35. Off the ends of the docks on the cables around 20 to 25, and out of the trees 20 to 25 foot deep over whatever. Same sort of deal there. The spoon bite's been pretty good up there as well. Spoon jacking around the docks with either a scuba spoon, the Watson spoon, or with the Strike King spoon, so all that's working too. And then we are starting to see that topwater bite get a little bit more dependable. That shallow, up against those steeper banks on that ledgy stuff, the same sort of thing I mentioned about down here by the dam. You're going to start to see that bite really start to take off here in the next probably 2 to 4 weeks, where you can catch them on a whopper plopper or a buzz bait right up against those steeper banks, whether it be a bluff bank or just a channel swing bank in a creek. Get the bait tight to that bank, and you're not going to go down a bank and catch 30 fish, but you're going to find some better quality largemouth up there probably in the next 4 or 5 weeks. Go up into the James. That bite is already working in the James. It's been working for a couple of weeks. That steeper, bluffy or ledgy type bank with a topwater, whether it be a buzzbait or a whopper plopper or a chopo, those things are working up there. Catching them on a jig up there as well, around the boat dock. Starting to see fish really start to move into the boat docks on up the James, especially around Ants Creek, and then again around Woolly Creek. We caught some last time I was up there around some of the boat docks. I think it's, the fewer people out, fewer people using their boats, fewer people walking on the docks, and those fish are starting to get comfortable getting back underneath those docks again. So keep that in mind if you're going up that way. And then the big worm bite is still working. You can still catch them Texas rigging, a 10 or a 12-inch worm, and fishing those brush piles anywhere from about 10 to about 18 foot deep. You're not going to get a lot of bites, but you can definitely catch some better quality, targeting those better fish in those brush piles up there, up the James, both main lake and back in the creeks. Go up the White, spend a lot of time up the White like I usually do. Drop shot bites definitely going on up there. Shad shaped cut tail, UV drop shot worm, all those are working. Same locations on gravel anywhere from 22 to about 32 foot deep. On docks, on the cables of the docks, on those bigger docks, suspended around 20 to 25 foot deep, and then in the trees, again, suspended 20 to about 25 foot deep in those trees as well. So you can catch them drop shotting, you can catch them on a peewee football jig, main lake, and some of the bigger creek secondary points, throwing peewee football jig and the spider jig. Haven't really done well with a big football jig the last couple of weeks, so keep that in mind as well. But we have been catching them on that peewee football jig up there, so keep that in mind. Anywhere, again, they're shallow early, 5, 6, 7 foot deep early, and then they back out when the sun comes up. But mostly gravel and rock mix points. Can catch them on that topwater deal, especially if you go up the White or up into the Kings. You can catch them on those steeper, ledgy type banks, even bluff type banks with the whopper plopper, the chopo, or the buzzbait. That bite's been working, and then spoonjacking's working up there as well. I didn't do a whole lot of it last week, but I did talk to a couple of guys that around the Shell Knob area were catching them spoonjacking and actually did pretty well, throwing the Watson spoon into a few docks around there. So a lot of bites going on, a lot of ways to catch fish right now in Table Rock. Best way to know what's working, when it's working, where it's working, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get all those benefits, get your daily reports, your weekly reports, the maps, the feature videos, the monthly reports, the forecast, that sort of thing. That's the best way to stay in touch with what's going on Table Rock. So check that out, TableRockFishingIntel.com. But if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com, and you can either book online or just shoot me an email. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the videos. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you want to get more in-depth on what's working down here. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.